saw the end of the world from the top of a mountain. Its harbinger was something I still don't have words for. It's possible nobody else saw it as clearly as I did, but I'll never know. I've asked, I've begged, and not one person has corroborated what I witnessed. Most laugh when I bring it up. They think I'm researching a horror novel. I tell them that too. It's the only way to keep them from walking away. But there were a few, just a few, who didn't laugh. They looked past me, eyes glassy, pale, silent, and then they shook their heads and refused to speak another word. That look both comforts and terrifies me. I've lost count of the interviews. Dozens, maybe more. Equal amounts of coffee and beer spent bribing stories from locals. And now, I'm seeing that 1,000-yard stare more often. A part of me hoped I had dreamt it, that I'd simply experienced the most vivid nightmare imaginable. That hope fades every day. The last person I interviewed went pale the second I mentioned the week it happened. She stood up, hand over her mouth, and ran sobbing into a nearby park. I didn't follow. I just sat there numb, watching from my coffee shop booth. Hours passed. Eventually, she came out. Her makeup was smeared down her cheeks, her jeans and jacket covered in grass and dirt. That was a week ago. The day I stopped doubting what I saw. The interviews ended, but the need to know didn't. So now, I'm telling my story to you to see if you remember. Please, I hope your memories aren't as vivid as mine. I was, still am, a security guard for a mining company. They own the mountains just outside my apartment complex. It was a simple gig. Patrol the trails, check the radio towers, and spend the rest of my time watching security feeds while listening to audiobooks or gaming. The first rumble came during lunch. I was in my concrete station. I called it the hut, sandwich in hand, security feeds on one monitor, a retro platformer on the other, coffee on the desk. Then the coffee cup trembled, a common enough event. Earthquakes aren't rare here, but this wasn't like that. It was rhythmic, pacing, like footsteps. That's what got to me, the shaking intensifying. Binders bounced off shelves, monitors tumbled, coffee splashed across the floor. I don't remember screaming. I think I curled up in the corner, hands over my ears, whispering prayers to whatever God might listen. Then came the sound, a screeching trumpet from somewhere far above. I had to see what it was. Something primal in me needed to look. So I pulled myself upright, fought to the window overlooking the northern side of the valley, and saw something crossing the sky. It was unthinkable. Not a cloud, not a storm, a thing. A black, writhing thing that stretched from one horizon to the other. A curtain of night moving overhead, blotting out the sun in a slow, suffocating eclipse. Then, something descended from it. A leg, a pillar, a limb. It slammed into the middle of the valley like the hand of God. I flew. The room exploded around me. Paper, glass, shelves, everything hurled by the shockwave. I hit the floor, hard, and stayed there. The next tremor was weaker, then another, then silence. Except for the pool of coffee next to me, trembling gently. Eventually, I moved. I sat up. I spoke into the radio. Maze? Silence. I tried again, voice shaking. Maze, please tell me you're there. Still nothing. And then, rain. A gentle tapping on the roof. At first, I was relieved, until I looked out the window. It wasn't just dark anymore. It was pitch black. The sky was gone. Then, a sound. Far above, a roar that made the mountain vibrate. And with it, a green light, like molten emerald, rippling across the sky. It flowed in the direction the pillar had fallen. South. The leg, yes, leg, was bent, moving, and I realized it was alive. As the light faded, the valley flickered. Some lights came on. Emergency backup systems, maybe. Flashlights. A few surviving cars. Then came the second horror. The rain. It wasn't water. It was red. thick, heavy. It coated the valley like blood. And then, the third horror, the heads. They descended from the black sky, not falling, not flying, hanging from the clouds. Human heads, animal heads, insect heads, all enormous, all screaming, but not with sound, with expressions. Faces twisted in agony, mouths open wide, eyes like glowing yellow searchlights, painting the mist in sickly gold. They'd appear, scream, and vanish, only for new ones to take their place. And then the screaming started from the valley. Real screams, human ones, millions of them. A choir of torment. I screamed too, until my throat tore. After that, things blur. I shut the curtains and didn't look again. I survived in that hut for a week. 3 days of food stretched into 7. I rationed everything. Water, snacks, my sanity. Every few hours, the green wave passed through the sky again, and with it came the screams. The intervals shortened. I started keeping track, running the math. Eventually the waves would come with no break in between, just endless, screaming light. That would be the end, so I waited. When the final day came, I was too weak to stand. But I dragged myself outside, into the red rain. The valley was ruined. A few lights still blinked in the fog. One building still had music coming from the top floor. A party, maybe, or madness. And in the sky, the screaming never stopped. The green glow was constant. And then, one more head descended. It stared directly at me. Its face was mine. Mouth open, screaming, just like I was. Then, a flash. Yellow, blinding. And I woke up, in bed. That's why I'm writing this now. I've never believed it was a dream. And I think people are starting to remember. This morning, I saw a woman downtown. Business suit, laptop in hand. Standing in the middle of the sidewalk, staring at the sky. She looked terrified. Just like I must have. The streets are emptier now. The noise is dying down. The city is holding its breath. If you remember the sky turning black, if you remember the red rain, if you remember the yellow eyes, please, let me know. Because if people do start remembering, all at once, we're going to reach a second terminal freakout point. And this time, we might not come back.